David Moore, Dallas Morning News. How far back does your interest in Mingo go and your visits here, and just talk about him in general?
Yeah, definitely. I think just like anything, as you go through, the draft process, it's important. And I remember the first time I heard it from Ron Wolf back in the '90s when I worked for him. You got to trust the draft process because you put so much into it. So that grade always carries weight when a young man does go somewhere else and becomes available. So we definitely liked him in the draft process, and he has a lot of the characteristics that you look for that I believe are necessary in a receiver. So we're excited for the opportunity to have him part of it.
Talk a little bit more just about how you intend to incorporate him in this week, and also as you talk about position flex. Does he do all the spots as far as you can tell? Is he better in the slot or outside, or worse?
I mean, to be honest with you, David, he's still going through the onboarding process. I haven't personally met him yet, so we're still waiting for him to go through that process.
Clarence Hill, All City, Dallas. Can you talk about what went wrong with him in Carolina?
I cannot. No.
Just from on tape,
yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody has opinions and so forth, and I think, a lot of change there. They've had 3 systems in 3 years, so you factor that in. So, we all have relationships in the league, and there's conversations. This is something that's been looked at here for a couple of weeks. So this is something that just didn't happen yesterday.
He looks like the same player you saw in the draft process.
Well, we believe in our initial grade, and we feel like there's obviously value there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. How important is temperament from a backup quarterback perspective, and how would you describe Cooper Rush's temperament?
Well, I think the temperament's important because the role you have as a backup quarterback. I've always believed that the individuals in the room, whether it's you got the 3 quarterbacks, or if there's a 4th quarterback, but the coaches, the assistant coaches, and everybody you have in that room's got to be plugged into how things operate. So the temperament's important for everybody in that room, and then it's all about getting the guy ready to play the game. And that's how we've always operated on, and Cooper's been great in getting Dak ready to play, and now Dak will there'll be some role reversal there. So his temperament's excellent. I would say he's as even keeled as an individual, especially quarterback that I've had the opportunity to work with. So cerebral, smart, and he gives you the flexibility to continue to play, and I think that's what you want in all your quarterbacks. You don't want to get to a spot where you have to change a bunch of things offensively because who's behind center, and because the biggest challenge is going to be the connection and the reps that are needed with the perimeter, particularly in the passing game, because protection wise and in the run game and so forth, nothing will change there.
And then injury wise, you said Micah. Is the plan for him to practice CD? What will he do?
Micah plans for Micah to practice today in a limited fashion. It'll be his first time out there, but he's looking good. He's confident. So we'll see how today goes. He'll be on a rep count. CD's probably in a similar situation. We'll be really smart with him. He'll do all the walkthroughs, and we just completed the first walkthrough of the day, so he participated in that, but he won't do much on the field today.
John Machado with The Athletic. Have you guys come to any decision on if you'll put Dak on IR or not?
I have not. Yeah, that decision has not been made.
And then with Jordan Phillips, why do you think it didn't work out for him here?
I tell you, I really like Jordan Phillips. I think clearly from afar, when you watch him play. But to be honest with you, he was injured when he got he was injured really from the get go, and I don't think we really got to see what Jordan was really all about. So, but as far as the decision, there's always different things going on in the roster build, but wish him well.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, you talked about not wanting to change a whole lot in terms of what you do offensively with back quarterback. Stylistically, how would you compare and contrast for Rush and Dak?
Stylistically?
Yeah. Like on the field, stylistically. Because I'm not asking you a scheme question.
They were different numbers. Yeah, I mean, schematically, we want to do the things we feel like we need to do to win the game. So that was evident as we went through the game plan process. But yeah, I think every quarterback's different. Their throwing motions are different and things like that. But Cooper has a lot of experience. Has played a lot of football. He's been playing football since preschool. I mean, he's that type of guy. That type of player.
Hey Mike, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Keeping to the injury front, DeMarcus Lawrence and Brandon Cooks, they're both eligible for practice activation. Where are they in the process? Could today be the activation for both of them?
Today will not be the day, but they look good. So they're moving around. I know Brandon is taking some big steps here of late, and I would say the same thing for D-Law. I mean, he looks good, but yeah, I don't see that happen today.
Scott.
Skyler is with the AV. You weren't the play caller 2 years ago when Cooper had his 5-game stint. Obviously, personnel changes a lot in 2 years, but given those things, what can the two of you guys kind of take from 2 years ago, if anything, as you go into this again?
Well, I mean, you take a lot. I mean, it's I was in the room in those years, so. But I think the biggest thing is what you established this year. I mean, it's. Every year is different. You're evolving your offense. You're doing different things. We go back to 2020. It was a system that we kept because of Dak Prescott. So whatever system you're in, or a combination of systems, ever how you want to phrase it, you're always trying to move the needle and do variations. And the point I'm making is the best thing about us, Cooper's always been here for that. So he knows the beginning. He knows the foundation of why we stayed with the things we stayed with and how we're trying to evolve them and so forth. So, and I think someone that's probably even more important is Scotty Tolzien. Scott's always been there in the room as an assistant coach too. So, and that quarterback coach and quarterback relationship is vital. It's vital to this process, and we definitely have that with Cooper and Trey and Dak.
Saudis at the Athletic. Mike, for Brian Schottenheimer, what kind of role has he played in this year? And a lot of moving parts on offense and everything. Obviously, as the coordinator, what kind of role has he played?
Plays a huge role. I mean, he's the offensive coordinator. I mean, he does a lot of the heavy lifting. It's a connection that him and I have that goes way back. So I think it's important for us to continue to tap into that. I mean, it's because when you do have a lot of moving parts, I mean, there is a benefit to having like-minded individuals with experience with each other. But I think he's done an excellent job also paying that forward to our younger coaches. We got some really good younger coaches in that quarterback room and throughout our offensive staff. So I think Brian does a tremendous job.
We asked you about temperament of players, but what about we talk to him every week. He seems a pretty upbeat guy. Like, what do you see about his temperament and how it translates to how he communicates with players?
I think he communicates extremely well. Has a lot of energy. I mean, he's definitely on the high end for positive energy, and that's important. That's definitely important for coaching today's athletes. So, and I think the players really resonate with him because of that.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News.
What you doing over there?
Oh,
you're late. Oh, you're late. I'm sorry. You mean to bring it up.
My apologies. How hard is it for young quarterbacks just to survive in this league and that kind of thing?
I think it's very hard. I'll tell you, the longer I do this, I do think there's a lot of merit to the number of attempts that they have in college. The 1,300 passing attempts. I think there's a tremendous amount of value in that. And if you look at the guys that don't have that opportunity, the opportunity to sit, because I've seen guys that sit and that really benefited from. Aaron Rodgers is a great example of that. And then there's guys that are thrown in there right away that that I've been a part of, and that's hard. That's really, really hard. So I think just their path is critical. The introduction to their to them playing. That's why when you see these young quarterbacks come in the league in year one, boy, I tell you what, their college experience is critical. And because some of these guys they've played a tremendous amount of football. I think these younger quarterbacks that are staying in college football play an extra year. I think it's very smart. I think it's the perfect training ground to get ready because you can't look what Trey Lance is going through. I mean, we can't get those reps for Trey, those live reps that that if you stay in college an extra year and things like that. So if you look at the landscape of how these guys are coming in, boy, I tell you, if I had a young quarterback, that I would recommend stay and play as long as you can because those are critical reps and opportunities that they're very difficult to get in today's, especially with today's training environment. The off-season program's lower, shorter. They're always cutting that back. You don't have the old quarterback school you did through March and April, so those things aren't available. So I think the quarterback specialists that are out there, I think they do a nice job. But there's variance between what they're teaching and so the continuity and consistency is what these guys need. So yeah, I think it's a big challenge based off of their college experience.
Babe Lofton, 105.3 fan. Mike, Vic Fangio, obviously you went against him 4 years, twice a year when he was in Chicago, then Denver, last year in Miami. Do you have to guard against as a play caller saying, I know this guy, I know what he likes, because obviously he's got different personality, different scenario.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just having an understanding, and I'm sure it's a two-way street. I definitely, I could go back to 1993 and show you books on every defensive coordinator I've ever gone against. I've kept that collection, in a warehouse, frankly, and because the point I'm making, I think it's very, very important to understand the coordinator, know his history. And we all remember the games that you call against each other, the ones that went well and ones that didn't go so well. So, yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, when I get onto the tape and look at Vic, it's like, okay, now what's he doing in Philadelphia? How's he using these pieces? How's he different with his secondary pieces as he was in Miami, or even Chicago? So, and really, frankly, in San Francisco, because I think that was, frankly, his best defense that I've seen him coordinate. So yeah, definitely, there's history for everybody in this league if you're blessed and fortunate enough to line up and compete. But yeah, you got to make it specific to what he's doing in Philadelphia and the disciplines there, the way they play, the time clock, the stress points of where he's putting the onus on defensively is clear, based off their assets, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, a lot of those consistency. I've always felt Vic does a hell of a job.
David.
And Mike, I don't think we asked you in the room the other day, but the cameras captured you on the sidelines in the game Sunday, and you crashed your iPad on the ground. Just that seemed out of character for you. What was?
We talked about it in the hall, didn't we? Well, I don't want to make a joke out of it. Thank you for bringing up an embarrassing moment. No, but I'm embarrassed by it, clearly. And it's something that at my age, clearly there's no excuse for it. And that's not what I represent. I'm embarrassed as a leader of this team, because that's something that we all talk about emotionally and discipline through all different spots during the contest too. And frankly, as a husband, as a father, as a son, as a brother. So that was definitely a moment that I wish I had back.
Clarence.
Two things. I don't think we asked you about Bland. Where is he?
He'll work with Britt today. He's still in the rehab group. Yes.
Just getting back from Lance for a second. I know you're trying to win games. If you don't get any snaps for him, and you talk about how tough it is for him in the developmental process, get him a fourth-round pick. Is there any balance to we need to find out about this guy? He's out of contract next year. I know we're trying to win games. Any thought process of we need to find out what he is?
Well, I mean, I don't want to throw it all to the side that you can't. I mean, he takes all the look team reps. I mean, he's great in the room. I'm high on Trey Lance. He played in a different system in college, went to a little bit of a different system, particularly just take the footwork of, what we're teaching in the pass game's different. So he kind of had to start new there. So there's a lot there to work with, and I do enjoy working with him. I'm very, very fond of him. I love his approach, and he's just young and needs an opportunity to play. So, but it's in season. We're competing to win games, and Cooper Rush he's up next.
John.
Is it possible to give him packages or looks, or is that something that all the attention kind of has to go to the starter at this point. Is that a difficult thing?
Yeah, I mean, let's be practical here. I mean, I think you have to. I mean, you know, Cooper, you know, it's his opportunity. So, and you know, you're starting to get to a point in November, and then obviously with us always playing a Thanksgiving Day game. And the only reason I'm bringing it up because I was working on it Monday morning is, you know, you start to adjust your schedule. You know, you got to start, you know, starting to cut back here in about a week or two. So it's important not only for Cooper, but it's important for this team to get these padded full practices in. We're in a full 7-day stretch. So not only does Cooper need to get ready to play, but we got some Micah needs to get ready to play. I mean, we need to practice the right way. I mean, I come in here every week and talk about the importance of the continuity and continue, you know, to continue to stay, to get that connection that you need with all these guys. So, and that's very, very evident for Cooper, you know, at the starting quarterback position.
Patrick.
Hey, Mike, kind of circling back to the familiarity component of opposing coordinators. Can you just talk about, from a head coach's standpoint, obviously you won't be directly going up against Kellen Moore because it's play caller versus play caller, but as the head coach, talk about the challenge of going against a coordinator that you know so well, he knows you so well, and just how that plays out too.
Yeah, I mean, just being honest, when you look at, you know, I look at Kellen and LA Chargers, and compared to, you know, Philadelphia, obviously there's a lot of carryover from their old offense to what they're doing now. Where, you know, I felt at the Chargers there was a lot of carryover from, you know, what was done in Dallas and what he took there. So I mean, yeah, just you know, look at the film, you know, the facts, you know, how they're utilizing players. I mean, I've never put together. I believe in offensive systems, very much so. I was so fortunate to learn the West Coast offense from, you know, some of the best coaches that I've ever been around, and it's a system that has the opportunity to continue to grow with variation. Take, you know, put your players in position to be successful, and frankly, I see him doing that with, you know, in Philadelphia. I mean, you know, Saquon's playing as well as I've seen him play, and you know, the way they're running the ball and some of the things they're doing is, you know, reflective of how they played in the past, and you can see the things that he's brought to the table. So, yeah, I think just like anything, you know, when you go to a different team, it's different. I mean, it's because you're, you know, it's different players, you know, so, and no different than when I came here, you know. You know, I kept an offensive system in place because of the quarterback. You know, that was a big decision. That was, I don't know if I'd do that again. You know, I don't regret doing it, but you know, I think we all, you know, put in that position. You look to make those decisions, and at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for the players.
All righty, thank you,
Is
Mike.
that it? Thank you.